श्रीगुरवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं। कृपया क्षमतामपराधिजनं कलुषायुतशक्तसुदीननरं सुपथे परिचालय सर्वदिनं प्रणमामि च माधवदेवपदं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। भुजे सव्यवेणुं शिरसि शिखिपिच्छं कटितटे दुकूलं नेत्रान्ते सहचरकटाक्षं विदधते। सदा श्रीमद्वृन्दावनवसति लीलापरिचयो जगन्नाथस्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे। वन्दे नन्दव्रजस्त्रीणां पादरेणुम् अभीक्ष्णशः यासां हरिकथोद्गीतं पुनाति भुवनत्रयं। भक्त्या विहीन अपराधलक्षैक्षिप्ताश्च कामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयी त्वां शरणं प्रपन्नवृन्दे नुमस्ते चरणारविन्दं। भूमस्वखलितपादानां भूमिरेवयवलम्बनं त्वय्यजातयपराधानां त्वमैव शरणं प्रभु। वागीशा यस्य वदने लक्ष्मीर्यस्य च वक्षसि यस्यास्ति हृदये संवित्तं नृसिंहमहं भजे। श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यप्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैतगदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 7th chapter, the discussion between King Yadu and Avadhuta Brahmana. Yesterday we heard that from water what he has learnt is, just like water is soft, clear and sweet, the speech or the sound of it is very pleasing. In a similar way of a sadhu, or by listening the Hari Katha that is given by the sadhu, one is immediately purified. And then we heard that from fire what he has learned is that the fire is very effulgent and he has the capacity to accept anything. In a similar way, a sadhu, whatever food is offered to him, even if it is in the state of a contamination, he can not get contaminated by the nature of the food. He has the capacity to digest it. And also, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes another viewpoint, that he says that a fire does not accumulate for a later point of time. Whatever it is given, he immediately consumes it. So sadhu's nature is also like that. He does not store anything for another day. He immediately consumes. He has no tendency to store. And the other thing is that he can accept anything. He can still remain uncontaminated. We heard in detail that when we eat food that is contaminated, then we will immediately, our consciousness gets polluted because of the attachment. But a sadhu, he is beyond all these things. Now we will continue from verse number 46. Kvachit channah kvachit spashta upasyah shreya ichhatam bhungte sarvatra datrinang dahan पाशुत्तरात् अशुभम। मुनि व्यक्ति अग्नि न्याय कोनो स्थले गुड़ रूपे अवस्थान करिबेन आबार कोनो स्थले प्रकाशित हइया मंगलाकांक्षी जनगणेर उपास्य रूपे गूढ़ पुरुषगणेर भूत ओ भविष्यत पाप राशिर विनाशपूर्वक सर्वत्र उपहार द्रव्य ग्रहण करिबेन। So from fire we heard yesterday 3 verses. In 3 verses he will speak about what lessons he has learned from the fire. So one we heard yesterday. The other is fire is at some places fire is hidden, covered. At other places fire is very luminant, like it is covered when if you see the dust of the the rice, the husk of it. When the husk of it is burnt, then you see that you actually don't see a fire in it. It looks, it's a covered fire. Also, if the wood is burning, after the wood burns, it is complete. Still, the coal that is formed out of it is also still burning. You don't clearly see the fire from it, but actually it is still there. If you put your hand or anything in it, you instantly feel the heat of it. So at some places it is covered, and at other places it is luminant. In a similar way, a sadhu also like that. Kono sthale gudha rupe avasthan karen. Sadhu sometimes, without much of the public knowledge, a sadhu conceals himself. He does not reveal himself as a great devotee. Just like particularly we think that a person who has so many disciples, a person who is very popular, he is a sadhu. Usually we think like that. But actually a sadhu can exist anywhere. A sadhu may not be in favor of popularity at all, fame at all. Just like Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he was never wanting to make any disciples. Because disciples is another glory of Guru. Okay, but he does not want, he doesn't want to accept that glory. He wants to be, concealed or in a hidden state. He did not want to make any disciples. They are like, most likely they are bhajananandis. They are, interested only in performing their own bhajan in solitude without much of interaction with anyone outside. And they don't want to reveal themselves to public. And yet there are other kinds of sadhus, like the luminous fire. What they do, they exhibit meaning for the purpose of, conditioned people, in order to bring welfare to them. Just like fire, when it is luminant, it can be used for cooking, everything, it is useful. In a similar way, sadhu also sometimes exhibits his glory only in order to bring welfare upon others. Janaganer upasya rupe, and he may also be accepted as a worshipable person. He might exhibit himself as a person who is to be like a guru. Guru is to be worshipped. So, in that form, Datra Purusha Ganer Bhuta O Bhavishyat Paparashir Vinash Purvak. In such a state, what he will do is, he will drive away the sins or completely destroy the sins of the past and the future. In the past means whatever one has committed, all the sins are destroyed. In the future means, by bringing him to the path of Krishna Bhakti, he will not allow that person any longer to be following the path of karma or sinful life. Sadhu, the past sins are gone. When Jagai Madhai, when they submitted to Mahaprabhu, he told, I will take off all your sins provided you don't commit any again further, for which they accepted. So they told that don't commit any sins in the future. Similarly, at the time of our Diksha, the Sri Guru will drive away all our sins because he makes our body Satchidanandamaya. Of course, it depends on Sharanagati. Many of us, most of us, we accept it out for the sake of formality. Not बंद कर देना, चलाना नहीं, बंद कर देना, वो लोग ऐसे ही करेंगे, इसको बंद कर देना, इसको बंद कर देना। जो सॉल्यूशन हमारे हाथ में है वो कर लेते हैं। थोड़ा सा खुला, थोड़ा सा खुला, बस। So by bringing one in the path of Krishna Bhakti, what he does, he not only drives away the past sins, but also whatever he is supposed to do or whatever he will do in the future, he will, bring him out of the sinful style of living. Therefore, a sadhu may be present in any of the forms, in a covered state. In a covered state, or sometimes he may exhibit to the people. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in the commentary, Sadhu bhasma achhadito agni nyay nij mahatmya prakash korenna. Sadhu in general, just like an ash that is covering the fire. From inside the fire is burning, but when ash covers it, it appears that there is no fire, burning is finished. In a similar way, in general, sadhu never exhibits his glory. It is the nature of a sadhu not to exhibit his glory. Because in the story of Madhavendra Puripal also we hear that even though the Lord has stolen kheer for his purpose, as soon as he came to know of it, he told that, oh, if I stay here, then people will know that Gopinath has stolen kheer for me, therefore they will give me honor. But a sadhu is always fearful of prestige and honor. People, they give, but a sadhu is always fearful. Therefore, he wants to keep himself covered, not reveal his glory to anyone. Otherwise, because whatever qualities are present in the devatas, Guru also has got, sadhu also has got. Miracles, they will attract wrong kind of persons, isn't it? When a sadhu also exhibits his glory, just like there are so-called so many Bhagavans, they exhibit some kind of a glory to attract people. If a sadhu also has all these qualities, but he does not exhibit. Why? Because that will attract wrong mentality people, wrong kind of people. Those who are materialistic, those who have desires to be fulfilled in this world and in the heavenly planets. Oh, this is very nice. If I go there, I will get this siddhi, I will get that siddhi. They will not come for the right purpose. Therefore, sadhu never exhibits such glories even if they are present in him. And also, of course, pratishtha, from false ego, he always fears, he always stays away from it. আবার কোন সময় লোকশিক্ষার নিমিত্ত প্রজ্বলিত অগ্নির ন্যায় স্বীয় মহিমা বিস্তার করেন. And other times, in order to give instructions to others, he may exhibit, like you should perform bhajan. So he will come out to give instruction to everyone for their welfare. Agni jerup याज्ञिक गणेर निकट তাহাদের প্রদত্ত ঘৃতাদি ভোজন করেন, সাধু তদ্রূপ তদনুগত ভজন জনগণের বহির্মুখী চেষ্টা দ্বারা স্তুত হইতে সেই স্থাও গ্রহণ করেন না। So just like fire, to the fire ghee, the purified clarified butter is given. What does it do? It will immediately consume it. In a similar way, Prabhupada is telling that if one gives some kind of glory to a sadhu, or glorifies a sadhu, or gives some kind of a prestige or honor to a sadhu, he will see it as someone giving honor out of materialistic mind, and he will not accept it, in the sense that he has the capacity to digest it. Just like the fire consumes it, in a similar way, even if someone praises a sadhu, people like us, if someone praises us, then we immediately get inflated, isn't it? We'll become, oh yes, I am such and such, I have this, because the praises and the blames in this world, actually they are purely out of materialistic purpose. Someone praises you or someone blames you because either they want something from you or they are not able to get anything from you. One time, one devotee in New Delhi, when I was in New Delhi, he asked me this question: Prabhu, these days I am getting ego, that everyone is saying that you are doing lot of service, like this. So I am getting lot of ego in me. What I should do? I also have it, not that I don't have, but he asked me, that's why I answered. So what I should do? Then I told him one thing. See, whatever praise or blame the materialistic people give, that has no value. If an ordinary person, he comes and says, oh, you are so and so, you are this, you are that, that means he needs something from you, he wants something from you. Or if he blames, he understands that you are of no use to him. So they do it purely out of some material want from you. Therefore, I told him, so what is the use of such praises or blames? If someone blames you also, what is there to be overly disappointed with it? Because anyway it is inexistent. Because today he is blaming you, tomorrow the same person, if he sees that he can get something from you, he will again glorify you. Or someone is glorifying you, but suddenly he sees that you cannot provide him with material desire any longer, then he will blame you. Therefore, their praising you or their defaming you is totally based on only one philosophy, that is whether they can get any happiness from you or not. Therefore, it is of no value. On the other hand, if the devotees are praising you, or the devotees are chastising you, then it is of some value. What is it? If, let's say, the devotees are giving honor to you, they are saying that you are such and such, you are such and such, then we should see it in such a way that actually they are blessing us to be in that state. It is not that we have already attained that state, it is that they want us to see in that state. Therefore, we shall take it as a blessing, not as that I have already attained that state. So if we see it that way, that I already attained that state, then it will become a cause of our fall down. And the devotee's chastisement, you are not doing like this, you are not doing like this, then you should take it in such a way that they want to correct you, so that you do the thing in a proper manner by which you can attain the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the devotee's praises and chastisements have value. You can see it in this way. Whereas if the non-devotees or materialistic persons are chastising you or they are glorifying you, then it is of no value whatsoever. If we see in this manner, then we can assimilate anything, we can accept anything. Otherwise, if our vision is not this, then there is a great chance of our fall down. Because pratishtha, the desire for honor and respect from others, is the greatest impediment in Hari Bhajan. Kanaka and Kamini, the desire for wealth and women, that can be gone. But the desire for name and fame, false prestige, it's very, very difficult to, because it is very, very subtle. The desire for money is grosser. The desire to enjoy is little finer or subtler. Even more finer is the desire for name and fame. So the finer it is, the difficult it is to get rid of. Therefore, we heard Madhavendra Puri, in fear of prestige from people, he fled away. But the thing is, even though he was not after the prestige, the prestige itself came behind him. Why? Wherever there is Krishna Bhakta, his glories will automatically be spread. But if we do any endeavor by our own self, then it will be a cause of our own fall down. So, the sadhus, even though ordinary materialistic people, when they, just like giving something to the fire, he will consume everything. In a similar way, a sadhu has the capacity to consume that. He can take honor and chastisement in the right spirit. Consume meaning he can take it in the right spirit. But if we take it in the wrong spirit, oh yes, actually I am the one who has attained that state, then it will be cause of our fall down. So, from fire, he is telling that what he has learnt is that he can consume, he has the capacity to accept it. It is why our Bharti Maharaj, he said one example. I don't know that Maharaj's name. One person who joined Prabhupada's mission, he was serving the mission and Prabhupada's mission, serving Gurudev's mission. And another Maharaj, he saw, that person's commitment to service, and then he told that he is such a nice Vaishnava, he has so much, eligibility and the capacity to perform, worship or, devotional activities. Then the third person who was listening this, one devotee was telling to another devotee about third devotee. So then the other devotee, I don't remember any of these three names, but the story is, the essence is, then that person told that he has just taken birth, let him live. He has just taken birth, let him live. Means that Pratishtha is like a tigress. Kanaka Kamini Pratishtha Bhaghini Chadi Ache Jare Seito Vaishnav. It will consume one's devotional life. He has just started, means he is an infant, he has just taken birth in devotion, let him survive. Means right now he will not be in a position to accept the honor if it is given to him. Therefore, it is not good. In front, it is not good to sing his capabilities, because he will not be in a position to accept it. You can glorify that person, you can tell about him to some others at the back, but not in his front, because he is still not ready, or he does not have the capacity to accept it. Therefore, it is very important to understand this, because people like us, Kanaka Kamini Pratishtha Bhagini, this is like a tigress. This tigress will devour Krishna Bhakti completely. Our Param Gurudev also, he writes in his Amar Bhajan, I have come with a purpose to perform Hari Bhajan. I have known that Krishna is the master of all, and the Jiva's only duty is to perform his worship. And if I were to enter in married life, then I will have to cater to the desires of other persons, to the wife, to the children, to the family, to the parents, etc. Therefore, I thought that I cannot commit myself completely to the service of Sri Krishna. Therefore, I have taken up this renounced order of life. And I have performed the bhajan, or I have performed the service of Guru and the Vaishnavas with a good intent. Seeing my commitment to perform service to the Vaishnavas, slowly they started to appreciate my service attempts. Whenever I get time, I used to read scriptures or do like this, engaged in devotional activities. Vaishnavas, seeing my commitment to devotion, they slowly thought that I am a nice devotee. Therefore, they started, praising my service attempts. Slowly, it so happened, Param Gurudev is writing on our behalf. It's not his state, but he's writing on our behalf. Slowly, my situation is that now I do some particular service, but in the back of the mind with a desire to hear good about myself, with a desire to get personal name and fame. And slowly what happened is, at one point of time, even if there is service, if I know that I am not going to get any name and fame there, I am ready to give up such a service opportunity also. Because the main purpose of doing service is not to please Supreme Lord, but to get name and fame. And I am ready to give up any kind of service if I were not to get name and fame in it. Previously, whatever used to give me happiness by serving the Vishnu and the Vaishnavas, now the same thing seems as a hindrance to me, to my material pleasure. This is my state. Amar Bhajan, he writes like this. This is my state. Now, in such a state, how can I be rescued? So, he is writing on behalf of all of us. He gives a solution, Sharanagati, by submission, because the Lord will drive away all such unwanted things simply by submitting to Him, by serving the Vaishnavas. Therefore, the ultimate solution is Sharanagati. But how a sadhaka, a practitioner, he slowly he comes with a good intention to perform Hari Bhajan, but slowly, because of the deviation, he will completely get distracted from the actual path. Therefore, this, pratishtha, glory, the desire to hear the personal glories or increase name and fame, is the greatest hindrance in Hari Bhajan. Sadhu, he can completely devour everything. He can completely, consume everything. But people like us, we fall victims to these things. जड़ अभिनिविष्ट व्यक्तिगणेर परम आदरेर वस्तु अग्निर्न्याय दग्ध कोरिया थाकेन. So he can, just like the fire, burns whatever is offered to him, in a similar way, he completely burns all those things. Means he will not accept any prestige or anything for himself. Uhate nija bhogecha pradarshan korenna. But he does not have the desire to enjoy any glory. Sadhu exhibits glory. He is telling that sometimes he is covered, sometimes he exhibits glory. He exhibits glory only to bring welfare upon others, not for his own personal pleasure. That is very, very important. If he exhibits glory for his own name and fame, then he cannot be called a sadhu at all. He cannot become a guru at all. Because he is telling that, Prabhupada is telling that, because he has no desire of self-enjoyment, because he is established in the fact that Supreme Lord is the enjoyer and everyone else is a servant. Because he is established in that fact, he does not falsely identify himself as an enjoyer. Therefore, even if anyone gives him prestige, he will not accept it. Swa mayaya srishtamidam sadasal lakshanam vibhuhu pravishta iyate tat sarupo agnir ivaidhasi. सर्वव्यापी परमात्मा स्वीय माया रचित देव तिर्यगादि विविध विग्रहे प्रविष्ट होइया काष्ठ प्रविष्ट अग्निर्नाय ताहादेर तुल्य रूपे प्रतीयमान होइया थाकेन. Now another aspect of fire is being described here. Fire is also seen in the firewood, isn't it? Not seen in the firewood, it is there in the firewood. But it cannot be seen. Just like the firewood is there which is used to burn, it is there inside the firewood, but it cannot be seen. In a similar way, Sarvavyapi Paramatma, Supreme Lord, who is all pervading, he is also, through his Maya Shakti, through his Maya potency, he is present in all the living entities. The birds, beasts, those who are flying, those who are walking, those who are swimming, those who are immobile. In all the creatures, the Lord is there, present in everyone. But he is just like a fire, just like fire is covered in the wood, or he is in the wood, but he cannot be seen. In a similar way, Paramatma is there everywhere, but he remains unseen. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur writes in the commentary, Agni Jemon Kashther Moddhe Pravishta Thake. So just like fire is present in the firewood, otherwise it cannot be burnt. It is present in a dormant state. In a similar way, Paramatma is present in everyone. Manthan dwara prakat hoy. And if you rub the firewood, due to friction, the fire will be produced. Seirup Bhagavan e jagate pravishta thake. And in a similar way, the Lord is present everywhere. In all the living species, animate, inanimate, everywhere the Lord is there. And by rubbing or by friction, one will get the fire. Means, how can one produce or one can see the Supreme Lord in manifested state? He is saying that Shravan Kirtanadi Bhakti Abhyas Hoite Pratyaksha hoy. By Shravana and Kirtana, he will come into the vision, into the sight of everyone. He is there in the firewood, it is there. By friction, you will get it. In a similar way, Paramatma is there everywhere. By the process of singing the Lord's glories, listening to the Lord's glories, that Lord will come into the sight. Means he can be seen directly. Srila Prabhupada writes in the commentary, E tritiya shloke shikhaniya vishaye Agni Jerup Uttar o Adhar Arani Kashtadvayer Abhyantare Avasthita Hoyau Aprakashiter Nai Bahire Kashther Akar Pradarshan Kore Upasya Vastu Tadrup Upasaker Sahita Avasthita Hoya Vibhinno Parthiva Rupadi Pradarshan Kore. So this is the third verse. So in 3 verses, he told that we will learn about the lessons he learned from the fire. So in this particular one, he is telling that what needs to be learned from this is the fire is present in the firewood. He is saying is Uttara and Adhara, 2 kinds of firewoods. It is there in the firewood. It's called Arani. Arani is the particular firewood that is used for fire sacrifice. So it is there inside, but outside he is not manifest. Although he is present inside, he is not manifest to the external eyes, and it takes the shape of the wood only. The fire has no shape, means when it is burnt, it has some shape. But when he is inside the wood, he assumes the shape of the wood only. In a similar way, Upasya Vastu, the worshipable Lord also, Upasaker Sahita Avasthita Hoya, he is present in the worshippers. All are worshippers. He is the worshipable God. So the worshipable God is also present in everyone. Everyone means in all the worshippers. Hoya Vibhinna Parthiva Rupadi Pradarshan Koran. And he exhibits as different forms, because he is present in the animal, he is present in a bird, he is present in a beast, he is present in aquatics, he is present in humans. So he exhibits that kind of a form, but he is present in unmanifest. He is not manifest in his true form, but he is unmanifest to materialize and takes the shape of the person in whom he is present. Jiver ashraya jatiya dharma anushthan thakay vishayer ashraya grahan vyatito tahar purnata siddha hoina. So the living entities are ashraya jatiya. Ashraya jatiya means they come under the principle of to be enjoyed. They are to be enjoyed. Therefore, and the Supreme Lord himself is Vishayajatiya, means he is the enjoyer. So, enjoyer's completeness also comes in the state that he enters into the to be enjoyed also. Otherwise, his state of being complete will remain incomplete. You understand? The enjoyer Lord is entering into each of the persons who is to be enjoyed. If he cannot do so, his Purnata, his completeness will remain incomplete. Therefore, for that purpose, he is present everywhere. If he cannot be present everywhere, if he cannot be present in individual living entities, if he cannot know what each living entity is doing, then he cannot be called as complete. Complete means everything. Full in knowledge, full in bliss, full in enjoyment, full in everything. That is complete. That is the definition of complete. So he has the knowledge of individual particle. He has the knowledge of the entire cosmos. He has the knowledge of his own self. That is complete. Whereas we don't have even complete knowledge about our own selves. Isn't it? Whatever is happening inside, what is producing what kind of hormone and what is happening as a reaction out of it, and how to get rid of it. Nobody, even the doctors, they say, when we were very in close discussions with the doctors, particularly for Guru Maharaj's treatment, they used to say, even the doctors, 50-60% of it works on the guesswork. They have certain idea, probably it works like this, probably it is like this, it is like this. But how the human body reacts to a particular thing automatically, no one knows. If you give this medicine, the body will itself react and fight with that particular kind of a virus or that particular kind of a harmful object, and then it will come back to its own normal state. If you see, many times, many things are cured even without taking medicine. Why? The body itself has the potency to fight against any kind of a disease or a particular kind of a disease. And by his own fighting nature, the whatever Lord has provided, not that we have acquired from something, the Lord has, when he has created this body, he also gave that particular kind of a immunity or kind of fighting capacity, and by that he will recover. The doctors say that how that happens. In some cases it happens, in some cases it doesn't happen. Why? It's a question mark even to them till date. How much our advancement one makes. So the point is that we are not even aware of our own bodies. What to speak of others' bodies. So that's why we can never be complete. We still remain infinitesimal, insignificant, creatures. Therefore, if the Lord were not able to expand himself and present himself in various living entities, then his nature of being, state of being complete cannot be fulfilled. So anyway, the thing is, what we learned from this is, just like in the wood, fire is present, but by constant friction it can be manifest. In a similar way, Paramatma is present in every living entity and is present in the form that living entity is in, or the kind of body he is in. But through Shravana Kirtana, through singing and listening to the glories, the unmanifest form will become manifest. This is what the third lesson he has learned from the fire. Viparyadya श्मशानान्ता भावो देहस्य आत्मनः कलानामिव चन्द्रस्य कालोनाव्यक्त वर्त्मना अलक्ष्य वेगयुक्त काल प्रभावे जेरूप चंद्रेर कला समूहेर ह्रास वृद्धि घटिया थाके चंद्रेर कोनो रूप ह्रास वृद्धि হয় না সেই রূপ দেহেরই জন্ম হইতে মরণ পর্যন্ত যাবতীয় বিকার ঘটিয়া থাকে। আত্মার কোনো রূপ বিকৃতি হয় না, ইহাই আমি চন্দ্রের নিকট হইতে অবগত হইয়াছি. From moon, what lesson he has learnt, he is telling. What is the lesson? Kal, the time, is coming as alakshya. Alakshya means that cannot be seen. Time cannot be seen. Not this time. Time I am. The Lord says, Kalosmi aham. I am time. So with time, he consumes everything. Isn't it? Mritya sarva harascha aham. As death, I take care of everything. Cannot be seen, but he will take away everything. So, as unseen time, Kala Prabhave, Jerupa Chandra, like the moon we see. The moon, the phases of the moon are slowly changing. From Amavasya, the dark night, you cannot see the moon. The next day, first day moon, second day moon, third day moon, you go on seeing. 15th day, there is full moon. Again, the 16th day, slowly he starts decaying. Isn't it? So, with the effect of time that cannot be seen, we may call it as day for the sake of our understanding. But with the effect of time, slowly the phases of the moon are waxing and waning. They are coming down and they are, coming up. Chandrer kono rupa hraso vriddhi hoina. But the moon himself is not dying. You cannot say on Amavasya day he is dead and then he took birth, he grew and then slowly he is... No, the moon is present. But the phases of the moon are changing. In a similar way, he is telling that Atma, even though the body seems to be taking birth and dying, Atma still remains undisturbed. From the phases of the moon, I understand this. How many of us have seen moon in this way? How many of us? We just see, oh, very nice, full moon, very nice. Dark night, it's not good. But Avadhuta Brahmana is seeing, that's why we discussed in the very beginning, sadhus, sees everything as Guru. He can learn lesson from anywhere. He has that capacity. Because he can extract all the qualities. He does not see. Like our, what's his name? Our Brahmana Maharaj. He often gives one example. A glass is there, tumbler is there. A tumbler is half filled with water. Now if you ask anyone, what do you see? So mostly 99% people say that I see that the tumbler is half full with water. But a person whose vision is above that, he says that I am seeing that the glass is full, the tumbler is full, half with water, half with air. It is the same thing, the vision is different. Everyone says that it is half full with water. But a person who is a seer from above, he sees that tumbler is not half full, it is fully full. It is full, it's not half. Yes, it is. So this is the vision. The difference between a devotee and non-devotee is this. Even though we see that there are so many good and bad qualities, oh, he's a bad person. But sadhu sees, no, he has this good quality. Because the way he sees an object is very different. And we see the object in a very different manner. So it is very important to develop this vision, the sadhu vision. How to see an object, we have to learn that also. We are trained to see in the way we are, from our childhood. We have to see, oh, this is mine, this is his, this is not ours, this house is ours, this car is ours, this is not ours. He is trained in that way. And therefore slowly he is brought up in that kind of a culture and environment, and slowly he learns only that. And he becomes established in that. But if one who is grown up in the sadhu's house or in the Gurukul, his vision will be little different. Because he is taught in such a manner. The vision, like Prahlad, when he came out of the womb of mother, he was a saint. Because he was trained in that way. When he was in the womb, these days, mothers, they watch movies, they watch serials, they call as soaps, isn't it? They watch serials, and with so many emotions and these things, that things, all materialistic rubbish they see. In earlier days, when they were pregnant, they used to read Mahabharata, they used to read Ramayana, they used to read Srimad Bhagavat, they used to read scriptures, Gita, they used to read that. Because that will give some knowledge to the child. Don't think that that the shishu, the child in the womb cannot hear. He can hear. He can hear whatever is being recited outside. Abhimanyu, he learnt like that only. Prahlad learnt like that only. Prahlad had no direct vision of Narad. He had not come in contact with Narad ever. Whatever he learnt, it was in the womb. We may think that it's all mythology. It is not actually true. But I have heard certain cases. If you do a Google search, you can also see that if a pregnant woman is exposed to some fiery sounds, then the child inside, he will have moments of fear. And pleasant, she will feel pleasant. You can Google search, you will find. Whatever kind of ambience one is exposed to, the child inside the womb, he will have that kind of a reaction. If he cannot hear those sounds, how can he give reactions to those? So earlier days they used to do that, but nowadays they have no time to go through scriptures. They are only talking about materialistic subject matters, or they are watching movies or TV or all these things, and ultimately the children, one day it will happen that only they will not listen to their parents. That's what they have seen while the child was inside the womb. That is what they have been seen, the materialistic way of thinking, and that will be the outcome of it. Therefore, a sadhu, the vision of a sadhu is completely different. A sadhu sees every subject matter in a totally different way. He sees that even in the middle of filthy things, he can extract gem out of it. Because his vision is that. Whereas people like us, even in the middle of gems, we only see dirt. Isn't it? We only see in the white cloth, we only see dots. But sadhu sees, so much of whiteness. If there are one or two dots, so what? They see as entire white. I see as two dots. So vision is the same, object is the same, viewer is different. Because the viewer is different, the vision becomes different. So even from the moon, he learned this lesson, that just like the moon is slowly expanding and decaying, the phases of the moon, but still the moon remains totally unaffected. In a similar way, even though the body is undergoing birth, death, etc., Atma, which is inside, he remains completely aloof from all these things. Janma hoite maran parjanta jabatiya vikar ghatya take. There are so many transformations in the body: birth, growth, sustenance for some time, production of the offsprings, slowly decay, and then die. These are the 6 transformations of any material thing. Any matter has these 6 things that has life in it. He will take birth, he will grow, stay for some time, he will produce offsprings, or anything produce. Our nail grows, our hair grows. These things are growth, offsprings, or we can produce children. But the moment one is dead, will the nails grow? Will the hair grow? It is not the property of the matter, it is because of the living substance in it. The matter seems to be changing, but matter does not change. It is because of the Atma being present, it appears that it is changing. And then it slowly decays, we become old, and then we finally die. So while these things are happening in the body, Atma is staying as witness to all this. We remain the same, isn't it? Kaumaro, Yavvanam Jara, Tata Dehantara Prapti. So, like childhood, boyhood, youthhood, middle age, old, death, these things are happening. Kaumaram, Yavvanam Jara, Tatha dehantara prapti. At the time of death, similarly, the Atma is moved to another body. Dhiras tatra namuhyate. Therefore, those who are wise, intelligent, sober, namuhyate, they are not disturbed by this. Because they know that which has birth will ultimately die. Jatasya hi dhruva mrityu, dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Whatever that has taken birth will have to die. And whatever has died will take birth again. But Atma, no birth, therefore no death. No death, therefore no birth. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit. There is never birth or death to Atma. Nayam bhutva bhavita na bhuya. Past, present, future. No, always it is there. Ajo nityam sasvato yam purano. It is the oldest thing. You cannot date back to when that Atma came into existence. It's there. Ajo, because no birth. Nityam sasvato yam purano. From time immemorial it is there. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Even though this body is gone, na hanyate, he is not gone. That is the principle of Atma. The Lord has explained very vividly in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, the entire Atma Tattva. When Arjuna was wanting to run away, I don't want to fight. Then he told, no, you have to understand. This body, you are killing the body, you are not killing the Atma. Atma has no death. Atma has no birth. So, in a similar way, he is telling that there are 6 kinds of transformations that happen in the body. Atmar konorup vikriti hoina. While these things are happening, Atma is not undergoing any transformation. Why? Because Atma principle is not matter. Na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati maruta. The principle of Atma is completely different. He cannot be burnt. He cannot be wet. He cannot be dried. He cannot be withered. That is the principle of Atma. Whereas this body, it gets dried, it gets wet, it gets heat, it gets cold. It can be burnt. But Atma, no. It is made of a completely different principle altogether. When it is made of a different principle, then how can any of the 5 material elements, Pancha Mahabhutas, how can they decay that person? Only Atma, only the body gets decayed, but the Atma does not. Atmar konoripu vikriti hoina. So Atma does not undergo any transformations. Just like the sun, moon is not undergoing any transformations, but the phases of the moon are undergoing transformation. Ihai ami chandrer nikat hoite avagat hoite. This is what I have learned from the sun, the moon. Now Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur writes in the commentary, Chandra hoite shikhar vishay bolite chen, जीवेर जन्म मृत्यु ताहार मध्य आरऊ dasha samoha देहरे. So whatever phases that a man or a person or a living entity undergoes, all these phases only belong to the body only, not to the Atma. These belong only to the body, not to Atma. Atmar nahe. Chandra panchadasha kalari jeman utpatti adi hoy. Just like the moon seems to have 15 phases, isn't it? 15 different phases, fully gone to fully blossomed state. 15 different phases are there. The phases of it are changing. Kintu shodasha kala rupa chandrer utpatti adi nai. But the moon, which itself is an illuminating disk, which is full of all kinds of, what do you call, kalas. Kala means the classics. He himself is not undergoing any transformations. Only the phases are being transformed. I will complete Prabhupada's also purport. Kalapatho aprakashito. The time is unmanifest. Nobody can see time. Akhanda kaler parigyan vartaman baddhavastai jiver adhigamya nahe. The living entities cannot understand how the undivided time is coming and how he is, impacting. The living entities have no capacity to see it. Sei Kali Chandrer Kalar Ras o Vriddhi Kore. So that time is the cause of the various phases of the moon. I mean, sometimes it vanishes and sometimes it blossoms. So the time is the cause of that. उक्तो ह्रास और वृद्धि दृष्टांत होते जाना जाए जे शुद्ध आत्मा ह्रास वृद्धि नाय, परंतु नश्वर जगत होते गृहीत वस्तु होते घटित देहेरई ह्रास वृद्धि आछे. So from this one can understand that there is no transformations of Atma as such, but whatever has taken birth with the five material elements, only that has growth or that has death or the different phases or transformations, but not Atma. ताहते देहेर जन्म स्थिति नाश साधित है. Only the body has birth and death. रविर किरण होते ही उद्दीप्त चंद्रेर कला ह्रास वृद्धि तद्रूप भगवद उन्मुख होइबार योग्यता जीवे विद्यमान. So he is telling that whatever glow that the moon has got is actually acquired from the sun. Sun is giving that glow to the moon. Moon is reflecting the sun's rays only. In a similar way, he is telling that Atma is actually reflecting the glow of the Supreme Lord only. Whatever, Atma is coming from the Supreme Lord. So actually the glow of Atma is basically because of the Supreme Lord's rays. It's a reflection of the Supreme Lord's rays. So in a similar way, he is telling that Atma is permanent and the body, while the body is undergoing transformations, the Atma does not transform. This is what the lesson that he has learned from moon. जय श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय. श्री कृष्ण द्वैपायन वेद व्यास महामुनि की जय. श्री गुरुदेव की परम गुरुदेव की जय. प्रभुपाद की जय. और प्रेमानंदे.